So what we're gonna go over today is a first aid kit. I've built my own kit. This is from Blue Ridge Overland Gear. I have so many of their bags. I should probably do a video on all of the different bags I have from them. Lifetime warranty. And I know there's certain companies like MyMedic that make a kit that comes with everything you need, but I don't have one of those, so I've built my own kit over time. So one of the most important things, at least in my opinion, for a first aid kit is to have it in red. And the reason for that isn't because you're gonna forget or that your spouse or whoever is gonna forget what this thing looks like. It's so if you were to get hurt, like say I was to get hurt and I'm doing some trail somewhere and a complete stranger comes up and I'm bleeding, they may not have a first aid kit, but I do. And so this makes it foolproof. They go in, everything's black, here's the red one, and they can pull it off. So it's for a situation that maybe you're just by yourself or you are with your spouse and somebody else is hurt and somebody in their group or from their vehicle or something like that, you're like, go get me the Band-Aids or go get me this, go get me that, and they can go and find this relatively easy. Just open the back door, you'll see it, it's a red thing. It stands out like a sore thumb. In a situation where you're going through a high adrenaline rush, it is easy to go into tunnel vision and you can't find things. So black bag, people aren't gonna probably even read this, but being that it's red, it's a different color, it'll stand out that much better. So anyway, for you guys that might be new to building a vehicle out or something like that, it is good to have one of these. Quick release, they can grab it, they don't have to mess around with buttons to get it off the molly pouch or panel or anything like that. Or if you don't even mount it this way, if you just have it sitting up in like a bungee, just make it to where it's easy to get to, easy to remove. They don't want to have to run back and forth, or you don't want to have to run back and forth to get different things out of this kit. So I make a lot of these videos for beginners that are into a lot of this stuff. And what you're gonna see across the internet is you're gonna see people who have medical kits that are just so preposterous. When people build medical kits, they tend to take a lot of stuff along that they would never use. And I'm talking about like tourniquets and I'm talking about like stitch kits and stuff like that. There's other things that you can use that will stop bleeding, and maybe they're not as permanent of a fix, but they're enough of a fix to get you out of somewhere. I've just been of the mindset that I'm gonna carry things that I know how to fix somebody with, and like basic things like gauze and tapes and stuff like that. I'm not gonna bring tourniquet kits and kits to stitch somebody up. I don't see myself stitching myself up, and I sure as hell know that Natalie is not gonna let me near her with a needle and thread if she were to cut herself pretty bad. And I mean, right next to my metal kit, talking about that stuff, with camping and overlanding and off-road stuff, we're all using knives to make dinner. We're using tools to you know, change tires and stuff like that. Even things like my stove and my little foldable oven have the potential to cut me open. And so there's all sorts of stuff like that. There's sharp edges on different things everywhere. We don't really think about it. And usually that's what we're dealing with, are small burns and small cuts. In this situation, that something major were to happen to me, I think I have enough to basically stop bleeding realistically. And then I have what it takes to call medical professionals, or at least call for help in some way or another. And so anyway, I know a lot of people are gonna disagree with me on that. That's how I handle it.
I feel like I should explain my rationale here before you start asking if this moron just drives into the backcountry and hopes for the best. In the event of a serious situation, technology is on our side. SOS communication devices have become very popular in the outdoor industry, and if you travel as a solo vehicle, you should carry one. Note that I said solo vehicle. Even if multiple people are in that vehicle, you really should invest in one of these devices for you and everybody else's safety. I would like to note that the new Apple Watch Ultra and iPhones have some SOS features built into them, though they aren't yet a real replacement for devices made by GPS tech giants like Garmin. This type of technology allows messaging when off-grid and having an SOS function for emergencies. A helicopter will literally come looking for you.
Now I will say the things that I've used the most in all of my adventures are going to be just Band-Aids. And the thing about Band-Aids is you need to make sure and take your Band-Aids out and replace them every so often, because they are just about useless after a few years of sitting in a vehicle in the summer heat. So I have some like biofreeze gels, I have antibiotics, I have ibuprofen that I store in here, various gauze. The thing is here is, now that I'm going through this, it's been a while, And obviously mine is not the most organized right now. I need to tidy that up this summer, because if somebody were to be looking through here, they're going to be like, where the hell is this guy keeping all of his stuff that he's asking for right now? And I usually know where it's at, but right now I'm poorly prepared.
Let's just go over this in a more detailed way. So to start, the first two things here are triple antibiotic ointment. Next is hydrocortisone for itching, lip aid, which is basically chapstick but medicated, a first aid cream with aloe in it, which honestly I think is just for burns, but I don't exactly remember. Burn gel, which I have in the wrong pile here. Various sizes of band-aids, butterflies, medicated band-aids, biofreeze cooling gel, medicated hand lotion. Basically, we keep more of this in the cab, but this is for a just-in-case scenario if our hands get really dried out. These are called splinter out, and it's basically a metal needle inside of a sealed package for getting splinters out. Hand sanitizer in case our big tube runs out. Cleaning towels for our hands, alcohol wipes, and antiseptic wipes of different types. Burn gel, ibuprofen, which these are just backups. We do keep some in the cab as well. Cold symptom relief, cough drops, and then various sizes of bandages. We got large bandages, and then I have a bunch of gauze and various ways to treat larger wounds if needed. These are those ammonia packets that you can crack and wake somebody up if they're unconscious. Antacids, which we do carry in the cab as well. These are eye drops in case we get anything in our eyes. This can kind of serve as a backup, and then an actual eye wash, which I am depleted on, and I need to get another one because we actually used one this summer. Some tweezers that my wife would not approve of, but she does carry some high-end ones in her toiletry kit. And last, I have some sealed gloves, some tape for the gauze, and then the scissors to cut anything that I need to cut into. Oh, and liquid bandage, which is basically super glue. Over here on the left is all of the things that I found that are no longer good in this kit while I was showing you this video. This biofreeze stuff cracked open. And then over here we have some dry rotted band-aids like I was talking about earlier. This is what they'll look like. They'll start to kind of fall apart. And now let's talk a little more on why I carry some of these items.
Like I said, a lot of you are going to know more than I know about this stuff. It's just I know my limitations and what I would actually be able to do. And I kind of feel like if I had some of those kits, I would do more harm than good. I think something like a butterfly is going to be a much better approach to a lot of this stuff for a lot of people, just because I think most people have about the same level of training that I have, which is just basically common sense. How am I going to put this back together if I got a big cut on my hand? So in that rare circumstance, I have that, or just for cutting gauze or something. It came with one of the medical kits. And then of course I have some tape, and then I have a few pairs of gloves. So if I were to be working on myself out in the middle of nowhere, a lot of you guys give me crap about having latex gloves in a lot of the things that I do. Like if I'm airing tires down and adjusting my suspension, or if I'm cooking sometimes even, I will wear black gloves. The reason for that is when you're out for a week or two, your hands get so gross so fast. So I just try to keep some of that off, mostly for eating purposes. But it's just one of those things that working in a dirty environment like a shop that I work in, I'm used to having dirty hands, and it's so limiting. And even touching my camera, I don't want to have grime all over my camera. So I wear gloves a lot, but I have a specific pair in here for if the day comes that I need to do something for Natalia, I can be sanitary about doing so. Just the small amount of grit you can get on your hands from checking oil, I mean, is not good for a wound. So it is good to have something prepared that you can get to quickly. I have other gloves up here, but these are just right here and they're there. So if I was in here, I don't have to dig around and do other stuff. It's just ready to go. I think the reason my whole kit has fallen apart here, this all used to be very organized, is this is on this table, and I recently mounted this to this last year. And so when I fold this table down, I think it's shuffling all this stuff around. So I need to address that. This is something I never really thought about before, but I definitely need to handle it because that's going to be annoying. I've got all these pouches, and it was once upon a time fairly well organized, but not so much anymore. We're in dusty, rocky environments, and we're driving around in these vehicles, and you can always get something in your eye. And something that's actually happened to me before, and we've probably all had this happen, a bug will literally fly into your eye. And you want to talk about some bacteria going into your eye. Something as simple as an eye wash solution could save you big time, because Natalie has even gotten somewhat of an eye infection from that very situation. So having stuff like this is big. I think it goes a long way, and it's simple stuff. Okay, so let's talk about the sponsor of this video, and this is InCase. So I have had to go to the doctor before to try to get prescriptions because we went on a trip through Vietnam for like 2 weeks. That was the first time I had to deal with that. So I went to a doctor. They kind of prepared me for what I might run into and gave me some things that they think would be good for traveling. And it was a little bit of a hassle to have to do that because we had to set up the appointment, go in there, and basically show them some of our documentation, if I remember correctly, to get those prescriptions, because doctors aren't there to just give out prescriptions for no reason at all. So what this is you go on there, you put in your information, and they will connect you basically with a doctor, a physician, and they will give you a prescription for these 7 different medications, and it comes in the mail as an entire kit. I mean, this is for like salmonella poisoning, for burns, for various different ailments here. This booklet or the app, whichever you're using, will give you a rundown on what these are for and how to treat yourself with them. One of the medications in here is used for anthrax, Lyme disease, malaria, pelvic inflammation disease, plague, respiratory tract infections, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, skin and soft tissue infections, rabbit fever, or deer fly fever. Some of these are going to act for infections from animal or human bites. Human bites, that's a scary one. So the last one that we have here is just what I was talking about. Me and Natalie both have gotten bugs in our eyes before. They're carrying so much nasty stuff. This in particular is a medication for an eye infection. We have 2 grapes built into our head that are exposed to everything. And so in those situations, you know, even if you're on the beach, sand can fly in there and that can go bad very quickly.
There are several instances where these types of medications can come in handy. Remote travel is certainly one of them, but also in situations of natural disasters. Just a few years ago, we all witnessed medical access get restricted overnight. So whether it's foreign or domestic travel, natural disaster, or just wanting to feel a little more prepared for what the world throws at us next, these kits seem like a pretty solid idea and will be in my medical kit in the truck from now on.
There is a physician that prescribed all this stuff. They have it done locally in your area. They'll basically look up your medical records. You'll have a quick chat with a doctor, and then anyway, they'll give you the all clear and they will send it in the mail. So this kit is about $160. It's $159. That includes the online doctor's visit and it includes the shipping. Getting sick out in the middle of nowhere is the worst. And so they have gone through and they have really prepared what I think to be a very impressive little kit here. Comes in a nice bag and you'll have your prescription with you. So if you're going into Mexico or something like that, you're gonna have that information with you.
One last thing I want to touch on is over-the-counter medications. Most of us don't have space to carry multiple full-size bottles, so your first instinct might be to make a grab bag to save space. If you live in a part of the United States where the police take you at your word, congratulations and comment where you live below. But for the other 99% of us, a mixed bottle of random pills probably won't work out well. Crossing state lines, or even worse, crossing international borders, opens you up to major setbacks on your journey. Individually wrapped medications can be obtained for fairly cheap. Each packet has labels to show what's inside and will save you space and trouble at only a slightly larger financial expense. Plenty of these kinds of medications can be obtained on Amazon, and of course, I will link them below.
Always filter your water. If you have a cut on your hand or something, try to avoid going to the river and cleaning that out because there are a lot of things that are in that water, of course. Even if it looks crystal clear and you're at the top of a mountain, there might be deer shit in it from up the way there. So clean water, sunscreen, basic medical kit, and I really do suggest checking out the in-case kits. I will put the coupon code below. As of right now, this is November 2023. They are $159 for one of these kits. If you guys have any critiques about my basic little medical kit here, let me know. If I get access to any other kits that are on the market that come pre-packaged, I will do more reviews on those in the future. Like I said, I've been meaning to do a video like this for a long time. I just haven't done it, haven't had time, but InCase was cool enough to sponsor this video, so I put it together. I know for a lot of you new guys, it can be intimidating of what do I need to take out there, because you may not be used to being by yourself out there. But the reality is just, you know, take your time, be slow with stuff, and you're less likely to get hurt. But if you do get hurt, just carry the stuff that you're gonna know how to fix yourself with. And read through the comments below, because I'm sure people are gonna have their own opinions on this. Just carry what you know how to use. I think people get really carried away with carrying all the stuff to just in case the world ends while I'm out there, what am I gonna need? Or just carry the basics you know how to use. Thank you, InCase, for sponsoring this video, and thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time.
If you want to check out InCase, click the link in the description below and use coupon code Overland5. As always, thank you so much for watching, and feel free to check out my other adventure, off-road, and overland related content.